Alright, Darkness Within spoilers ahead. If you haven't read it, consider yourself warned. When I first started reading, I was a little afraid this was going to be a filler book, with ShadowClan rejecting Shadowsight and the Bristleroot romance being the main focus. But towards the end, we definitely got our fair share of big reveals. So overall, there was a bit of padding in the Bristleroot quest, but the ending to this book was intense. We got much to talk about, so let's get into it. First up, I'm going to say that my Spiresight theory was wrong. Well, not completely wrong, but wrong in the sense that Spiresight is not the one pulling the strings like I claimed. 1, the Warriors website featured my theory on one of their articles, and I doubt they'd do that if that was the big reveal for the story arc. And 2, Darkness Within just disproves it. There's a scene towards the end where Ashfur throws the spirits of Spiresight and Bramblestar around his body like puppets. I just don't think Spiresight could be the one in charge if he was under Ashfur's control. I do think Spiresight still helped him get to where he is. In Veil of Shadows, he said Spiresight told him he could bend any cat to his will, and now here he is bending cats to his will. So it seems Spiresight made a big mistake in giving Ashfur certain information, because now Ashfur is bending Spiresight to his will. And when he animates Spiresight and Bramblestar spirits, I definitely don't think Bramblestar or Spiresight are in total control, because neither of them reveal anything groundbreaking. I think both spirits are still in good condition, they are just under total submission to Ashfur. Let's talk the sister scene. The most intense moment of the book, in my opinion. We have a vision of a massive group of ghost cats who are under Ashfur's control. They are all brainwashed to the point of being zombie-like, except for Spiresight, who is said to almost be willing Rootspring to understand, and Bramblestar, who Ashfur later reveals he purposely kept from the gathering. So we have two categories of ghost cats under Ashfur's control. The zombies, who are completely corrupted and have lost their sense of self, and the slaves, who do still appear to think for themselves but can't act out, possibly due to the threat of them being turned into zombies. I think an evil ghost battle is pretty much inevitable at this point, especially since the sisters say when the spirits are angry enough they can take physical form in a way similar to what the Dark Forest cats did. Now, looking at the zombie cats who are under his control, we have clan cats who died, but also cats Rootspring doesn't recognize. I believe these cats range anywhere from random wandering ghosts who are in the wrong place at the wrong time, poor Cheddar, and maybe some Dark Forest cats are among them. I mean, the Dark Forest is empty, but those cats had to go somewhere. Maybe some of the remaining spirits are now under Ashfur's command? Ashfur has picked up some pretty intense powers, and he's been pretty open about what those powers are. 1, he can travel between worlds, and 2, he could bend cats to his will, especially spirit cats. I don't think Ashfur is special in any way. He's not exactly the type of cat who would be blessed by the stars, so I'm going to say the source of his power is knowledge. Any cat could perform his dark magic provided they had access to the same secrets in the same locations. And I think these secrets are simply the secrets of StarClan that he picked up both from the time he spent there and from discussions he had with Spiresight. Traveling between spirit worlds and living worlds, that's stuff we've seen StarClan do before. Heck, we've even seen Possession before if you count Cinderheart. So here's a random detail I thought was strange. When Squirrelflight and Tigerstar are discussing Ashfur, they are randomly interrupted by the call of a blackbird. It just seems weird for this random detail to be thrown in without meaning, completely interrupting their conversation. I tried looking into it with some web searches and I found a lot of different things, but it seems the blackbird symbolizes intelligence, mystery, and magic. So if this isn't a total coincidence, I think it might be a nod to the fact that Ashfur has a plan, he is holding plenty of secrets, and he has taken on extraordinary power. So yeah, back to the source of Ashfur's power being knowledge. Ashfur has taken hold of some very powerful secrets that only StarClan cats know of, and only 2 living cats can replicate, which I'll get to later. For the sake of giving it a name, I'm calling this power the Secret Power. And the basis of the secret power is essentially being able to bend spirits themselves and the spirit worlds, such as StarClan and the Dark Forest. You wonder why StarClan is so selective of who they let in, even having a judgment system revealed in Squirrelflight's Hope? Well, I think StarClan are the guardians of the secret power. When Squirrelflight visits, they teach her about watching living cats through the moon pool, and this is the most pure form of the secret power, using it to watch over and guide the living from another world. Now compare that to the sisters. For the sisters to watch over the living, they have to actually be in the living world in spirit form. If they move on to another world, they disappear. but StarClan could do so from their world because they have the secret power. They have the ability to see into other worlds and travel between them. The Dark Forest Cats likely had a weaker form of the power. They could still travel between their world and the living world, but they couldn't access StarClan and they fell in the battle against StarClan cats. And they have since been completely wiped out. But as a former StarClan cat, Ashfur has access to the secret power. In fact, Spiresight does too. He's just not as evil, so he never made an army of ghost zombies. And that's why blocking off StarClan was so critical to Ashfur's plan. The only thing more powerful than the secret power is, well, more secret power. So once he blocked off StarClan, there was no cat who could oppose him. So how can Ashfur be defeated? Well, I think the answer lies in 2 living cats that I believe have some form of the secret power. Rootspring might be pretty cool with his earth-sensing powers, but I'm not referring to him. I'm talking about Squirrelflight and Shadowsight. I believe they are by far the most powerful of the living cats. Squirrelflight because she picked up the ability to travel between worlds during her visit to StarClan, and Shadowsight did when he ate deathberries. In their temporary deaths, they were able to pick up some skills that normally only the dead would have. I do think in this situation, Squirrelflight's secret power is stronger because she made it all the way to StarClan. Okay, so why does Ashfur care so much about Squirrelflight to the point he kidnaps her at the end of Darkness Within? Well, in Ashfur's pursuit for total domination, he didn't properly take into account the fact that it could be lonely sitting on the top with no one else. So he looked for answers in Squirrelflight. Not only did he still love her, she was also a former StarClan cat like himself, so it wouldn't be too difficult to teach her to world travel and bend spirits the same way he did. It is mentioned that Ashfur needs Squirrelflight for his plan to be complete, and I think this is both an emotional statement, as he needs a mate to be truly happy, and a power statement, as Squirrelflight is his most powerful opposition, so getting her on his side will remove the opposition and double his power. And he is also doing his best to keep Shadowsight close. We see him act oddly friendly to him throughout Darkness Within. It makes sense. Shadowsight is powerful. He wouldn't want to fight this cat. And I also see this as another example of his loneliness kicking in. While he initially tries to kill Shadowsight to stop him from messing with his plans, later on he takes a different approach of willing the Tom to join his side. After all, as Ashfur says, Shadowsight is like him. They both have a form of the secret power because they can both travel between worlds. So given everything we have, this is the timeline as I see it. 1. Ashfur has growing resentment in StarClan. 2. Spiresight arrives in StarClan, but chooses to leave to wander the living world. This ignites Ashfur's curiosity. 3. Squirrelflight arrives in StarClan, but chooses to return to the living to be with Bramblestar. This infuriates Ashfur, and seeing Squirrelflight use the pool to travel gives him the idea to do some exploring himself. 4. Ashfur meets Spiresight in the living world, and Spiresight shares with Ashfur the knowledge he has gained about spirits and world traveling. Ashfur sees that he can use his power to bend cats to his will. 5. Ashfur spends time in the now abandoned Dark Forest perfecting his craft, making his plans, and building the barrier to StarClan. 6. The StarClan cats notice the barrier forming, and Ashfur volunteers to investigate, and he promptly finishes building his barrier, locking StarClan out. 7. Ashfur sees a path to total power and domination through controlling spirit cats who can't make it to StarClan. But he also comes to the realization that he could attempt to get Squirrelflight back, and he gives into that temptation and creates his imposter plan, effectively getting him closer to Squirrelflight while also giving him an outlet to kill cats to build his ghost army. Number 8. Lost Stars through Veil of Shadows happens, and now Ashfur has a group of zombie ghost cats at his disposal. He uses the zombies to threaten Spiresight and Bramblestar spirits into submission. 9. Having an entire army, Ashfur only needs Squirrelflight to complete his plan. Not only is she the most powerful force that could stop him, she also just flat out is still a temptation to him. Squirrelflight does not respond well, so he uses his powers to transport her to the Dark Forest, where he will attempt to force her into submission the same way he did with Bramblestar and Spiresight. And part of the reason he was so desperate to keep his body in Darkness Within is so he can shove Squirrelflight's body into the moon pool as we see him do at the end of the book. Finally, 10. With StarClan gone and Spiresight, Bramblestar, and Squirrelflight out of the way, there is simply no cat powerful enough to stop him as he creates his empire with Squirrelflight by his side. Well, except Shadowsight, but Ashfur is absolutely keeping a close watch on the guy. So now it's up to our protagonist to save the day. Rootspring has a connection to the earth and can summon spirits, which can be used to keep watch for Ashfur's activity. And Shadowsight has the knowledge needed to travel between worlds, so he's the cat most able to stand toe-to-toe with Ashfur. Well, what about Bristlefrost? Does she have any powers? Well, no, but she has passion. She has loyalty, a clan to fight for. She's the opposite of Ashfur. And I think that alone won't stop Ashfur, but I do think it represents Ashfur's key weakness. That he doesn't have cats he is fighting for. He is trying to fight in the name of squirrel flight, but there are flaws in his connection to her. And as more of that is exposed, he is slowly going to crumble under the emptiness of his desires. The loneliness that comes from crushing others and being in total control, where every cat listens to him but no cat likes him. He will lose not out of a lack of intelligence or strength. He will lose simply because he doesn't have enough reason to fight back. He's too insecure. He feels too indifferent to the outcome of the final battle, because he will end up suffering no matter how it ends. Alright, that's a lot. Thanks to everyone for watching all the way through. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll post more theories as books release. And goodbye.